What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Demetrious Johnson outlines how Charles Oliveira could exploit Ilia Topuria's possible weakness at UFC 317. Demetrious Johnson shared his insights on how Charles Oliveira could fight Ilia Topuria effectively. Oliveira will face Topuria for the vacant lightweight title in the UFC 317 main event. Although both men possess significant experience and championship-level talent, most observers seem to favor Topuria to win. That said, Johnson, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, identified some opportunities that Oliveira could exploit. During a recent appearance on Tim Welch's podcast, Johnson pointed out that Topuria is skilled at backing his opponents and smothering them with multi-punch combinations. However, he expressed uncertainty about Topuria's ability to fight effectively in the clinch, suggesting that Oliveira could find success in this area. If Charles can get him there, obviously if he grabs the clinch, he can go body, body, head. But when he does body, body, head, you can still bang him with a knee. So, it's a give and take. If Charles can get him there, it will be interesting to see what happens. If I was to fight Ilia, I would fight him in the clinch. It's like, okay, outside he hits too hard, he's going to stalk me. If I shoot, he's going to defend, and then he's going to back up or he might try to take me down. What would he do in the clinch? Because I know he's going to go body, body, and I'm going to go elbow. That's where I'm like, I want to see what he would do. Aljamain Sterling sets sights on featherweight climb, calls for showdown with top contenders. Aljamain Sterling has not stepped into the octagon this calendar year, but he is calling out some big names and looking to make waves in the featherweight division. Sterling has put some standout contenders at featherweight in his crosshairs when he called out the likes of Arnold Allen, Brian Ortega, and Lerone Murphy on X. Sterling is currently the number 9 ranked contender in the featherweight ranks and is looking to rebound from a setback against the number 4 ranked Movsar Evloev, looking to book his first fight of 2025 by pointedly calling out some of the heavier hitters in his current weight category. Arnold Allen, Brian Ortega, Lerone Murphy, anyone ready to go? I am ready for a test to follow my dreams. Let's do this. Reinier de Ridder recently weighed in on potentially fighting Khamzat Chimaev. Although the Dutch claimed he respects Boers as a fighter, he believes that there are tougher opponents in the middleweight division. In his previous outing, the Dutch Knight knocked out Bo Nickel at UFC Des Moines. As Nickel was considered to be a rising prospect in the division, de Ridder pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year so far. In a recent interview with Home of Fight, de Ridder shared his perspective on a fight against Chimaev. I think it will be a very cool grappling match, lots of nice wrestling scrambles, lots of nice positions to go through, but I'll be happy if he gets some rounds in with Dricus du Plessis so I can have more to study. I think there are better fighters than Chimaev in the division, to be honest. More complete guys, Imavov. He's very complete. He moves very well, very relaxed and smart when he fights. I think that might be a harder fight, but Khamzat is, of course, a great fighter. Arman Tsarukyan reveals plans for Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira fight and potential UFC return. Tsarukyan has been eager to return to the octagon under the right circumstances and provided a timeline for what he hopes to accomplish this year. Arman Tsarukyan recently spoke to reporters following an open workout session. During the chat, Tsarukyan said he's willing to serve as a backup fighter for the UFC 317 main event between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. I am not sure if that's needed, but if they offer me that, I will definitely back it up. I will be ready. I am flying back to the US now and will be staying there in case anyone is injured. And if the UFC asks me if I am ready, I will say yes. Additionally, Tsarukyan wouldn't mind being pulled in for a backup spot if the planned UFC 318 main event goes awry. Dustin Poirier is scheduled to have his retirement fight against Max Holloway in New Orleans on July 19th. Absolutely positive I'd say yes. I need to take chances now. I got injured and this injury got misinterpreted. The doctor didn't let everybody know what really happened, so some people still think I ducked that fight. Now I just need to get back on track, so I'm going to do whatever the UFC tells me to do. Sean O'Malley admits he fought injured against Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 306 after last-minute call from UFC brass. Former UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley lost his crown last year at UFC 306 to Merab Dvalishvili. Sean recently revealed that 10 weeks before the fight, he tore his hip but decided to continue due to the event taking place at the Sphere. O'Malley admitted he was proud of his performance considering how he felt physically, but also confessed that he may have underestimated Dvalishvili's skill due to overconfidence. The 30-year-old feels he probably shouldn't have taken the fight, but asserted that the eventual comeback victory will feel even sweeter after enduring this loss. I was proud of my performance considering how I felt going into the fight. I don't want to have excuses. It wasn't a great cramp, but it was a good cramp that I was able to deal with. I was overconfident. I was underestimating Merab's skill. I just believe in myself that much. Looking back on it, I probably shouldn't have accepted the fight. I tore my hip 10 weeks before the fight. 8 weeks before the fight, Hunter calls me and says, "You got the sphere." And I was like, I'm not going to turn it down. It's whatever. I think it's going to make it that much sweeter of a victory after having a loss. So yeah, I'm happy with. UFC's backstage deal with Ilia Topuria comes to light amid lightweight title booking. UFC icon Chael Sonnen recently appeared on the Ariel Helwani podcast, during which Sonnen and Ariel Helwani discussed Ilia Topuria's backstage deal with the UFC for a guaranteed title shot in the 155-pound division. Topuria vacated his featherweight championship last month and has announced a move up to the lightweight division in a bid to become a two-weight champion. Helwani shared a post on X where he wrote that he was aware of the behind-the-scenes meeting where the UFC guaranteed El Matador a title shot once he made his move up to the 155-pound division. Ilia did get a guarantee that he would be fighting for an undisputed title when he vacated his featherweight title. I know exactly where the guarantee was given. I know about the meeting, all that and more. It had to be either Islam or a vacant belt, and that's exactly what happened. The UFC recognizes that this guy is a megastar. You want to keep him happy. He further stated that the promotion was content with Topuria's decision, despite its controversial history with champions walking away from their titles. The UFC hates people walking away from a title, but there's something they hate more, not having title fights to headline cards. That's why we're getting Ilia versus Charles for the vacant lightweight title. MMA coach shares only way Khabib Nurmagomedov would coach the Ultimate Fighter against Tony Ferguson. Khabib Nurmagomedov's coach Javier Mendez shared his thoughts on Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson, potentially serving as rival coaches on the Ultimate Fighter. In the recent episode of the Javier and Mo Show podcast, Mendez was asked if he believes Nurmagomedov and Ferguson can join a future season of the Ultimate Fighter. The only way I see this happening is if Khabib has the time and the desire to do it. He's so busy. I don't get to see the guy. He has many things he's doing, and he's a great businessman, a great father. So he has many things on his plate. So if it's on his radar, and this is what he wants to do, and it's offered to him and Tony would be unbelievable. We'd love to see it. Tom Aspinall not a fan of Michael Chandler comparisons. UFC interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall appeared on a recent episode of the Good Guy Bad Guy podcast, during which he dismissed comparisons with Michael Chandler, who continues to wait for a mega fight against Conor McGregor. Aspinall captured the interim strap by defeating Sergey Pavlovich in the first round at UFC 295. He has since defended the belt against Curtis Blades and has now become the longest reigning interim champion in the promotion's history. I've seen a lot of people comparing me to Michael Chandler. He waited a long time for Conor McGregor. I'm not waiting for one fight. I'm not trying to fight one guy. I'm trying to fight all the guys. It doesn't matter who it is. Cyril, Volkov, Almeida, Derek Lewis, Brock Lesnar. Whoever it is, I don't care. Let's not talk about John Jones anymore. I'm the active guy. I'm going to fight somebody, and that's going to be announced pretty soon.